Hey guys, today we're going to talk about how to give a best man speech, and also if you're a maid of honor, these tips and tricks will be helpful as well. You know, I actually just realized that I did not have any wine glasses in my house, and so I'm going to have to use this as an example. You're going to do great, guys. You're going to do great. Alright guys, today we're going to talk about tips and tricks for giving a great best man speech. Also, if you are a maid of honor, this will also be helpful for you. And so let's get started and dive into this right away. As you guys can tell, I'm not going to be reading from anything. Right now, it's going to be from the heart, and that's also a great reminder as point number one, you want to speak from the heart. If you're not speaking from the heart and you're just reading something off, then it's going to sound really dry and boring and bland. And I know what you're thinking, if I don't have something to read, then what am I going to say? I'm going to freeze up there. But in reality, if you think about what you're going to say, you already know. You're not going to be talking about how to make a pizza or how to turn on the TV. You're talking about your best friend and how you feel about them and the memories that you've shared. And so you can speak from the heart, but you do want to practice before you get up there. And so I'm going to teach you how. All right. So the next step, number two, you want to do is actually write it down. And so for me, I just typed it up on my computer. I made sure it wasn't more than one page because some of these can get really long. And so you want to write what you want to say and then give yourself some room to speak after that. And so write down what you want to say. After that, have someone review that for you. And so I had my wife review the paper for me. After that, then what you want to do is you want to take a Post-it note or just a note card and write some bullet points down. And so summarize your speech into no more than 5 bullet points. And so for me, when I had a bullet point, one wedding that I was at, I used that as a card and then I just had it in my hand. No one saw it. And if I needed to look down at it, oh, this is now the next section I'm going to speak about. Oh yeah, now I know I'm going to talk about. So I talk about things from my heart. Now I ran out of things to say. Look at the next point and continue on. And so because I had some practice, the last time that I was actually at a wedding and giving a best man speech, I did not have to do that at all. I did write down bullet points on a Post-it card, but then I left that at home. And I knew that, hey, I have the things that I need to talk about. So number 3 is come up with a game plan. And so for me, my game plan was I'm going to divide this into 3 things, and I'm going to speak from the heart and just move on from there. So kind of like rehashing what I said before, but basically my point number 1 was going to talk about my friendship with Lou and I. Point number 1. I had a few things I wanted to say, and so I'm going to say them and give myself some room to say some things that might just be a spur of the moment that actually fit really well. When I'm done saying things that I want to say about my friendship with Lou and I, then I move on. Point number 2, not point number 2, but my point number 2 was instead of talking about Lou and I, now I'm going to talk about Lou and lift him up because he's the guy getting married. And I'm going to talk about him and all the great memories that I've had with him, but talk about him mostly. And then when I'm done talking about my friendship with him and who he is, then I move on to the third point in my best man speech, and that's actually talking about him and his wife. So I'm going to talk about Lou and Bree and who they are. So it's going to be really short. It's going to be 3 short parts, and it actually fills up to be a normal length speech. And so in addition to that, for you guys, what you want to make sure that you're doing is you're looking at the people. So if I'm speaking to you and I'm like this, you guys don't want to listen to me right now if I'm just over here. So stay focused, but also stand up. Be comfortable in who you are. Make sure that you're looking at the people as you're talking. You don't want to just stare at one person. That would be really awkward. So point number 4 is make sure that you pause. Make sure that you take some time in between the words that you're going to speak. Okay, so think of Barack Obama in this. Okay, you don't want to just say just what's ever on your mind, but when you actually pause in the moment, it allows you to think about what you're going to say next. And you naturally rush when you're up on stage, and so when you're speaking and you take a moment to pause and you slow things down, it's more comfortable for you, it's more comfortable for those listening, and the words that you speak aren't just spoken better, but they're different words because you chose better words, taking the time to speak. And so slow down, don't rush when you are giving your best man speech. Alright, so the very, very last thing that I want to tell you guys about is after you're done encouraging them, after you've had all that, you're like, whew, I'm getting near the end, I'm thinking I'm going to pass out, and you're doing great, okay? But now that you're about to end, what you want to do is just end. Don't go on and on and on. We all been in a speech where someone's going on and on. And I could do that as an example for you guys, but I'm not. So let's end. To Mr. and Mrs. fill in the blank. And then toast around and sit down. And just enjoy what you've done. Practice all of that, by the way, okay? So I practice walking in, I practice giving my speech, and then I practice the to Mr. and Mrs. Gallagher, okay? Just practice it all, just be comfortable, have fun. For me, I practice it before my wife. Have a friend where you can practice your entire best man speech and get some feedback. Also, practice in front of a mirror. Okay, I'm running on, I need to stop here. Thank you for watching.